Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV, the final BMTV of 2020. And I think it is fair to say that we'll all be very happy to see 2020 go on its way. I hope you had a great Christmas. Hope you managed to catch up with your loved ones, either face-to-face or remotely, however you were doing that. And I hope you managed to have some downtime. Now, at the end of the year, what I like to do is have, and I've suggested this in the last couple of years, do a bit of a review of the year from a business point of view. And I would suggest that everybody does this. A bit different this year because of the pandemic, but I think it's really important to do this. So where you were a year ago and where you are now, and you might have had some written down goals, always write your goals down, and you might have achieved those, you might have done better, or you might not have quite achieved where you wanted to be. But the whole purpose of doing this is it's very easy to not focus on that. So you set your goals, and then you set yourself off. So you've got your head down and you're just working, you're doing whatever you're doing, and then the pandemic thrown in, you had other things to think about. You've not really looked at how your overall business is doing. Is it in line with what you were aiming to do? Are you even still doing the same thing that you started off doing at the end of the year? Or have you changed the direction of your business because of the pandemic? And has that worked out really well? But sometimes we just don't really spend enough time looking at that and focusing on that throughout the year because we're just getting so involved in the day-to-day. So that's why I suggest it. Look back at where you were a year ago. And that can even be something like looking back at your photos on Facebook from a year ago. See what you were doing and you remember what mindset you were in. And look at your goals that you set, if you did set any last year. Or just look at where you are, even if you didn't set any goals, and think, okay, well, what did I do to get here? And the whole purpose of this is to either see what is going well or what is not going well and make changes accordingly. So if you are exactly where you want to be or better than where you wanted to be, then you look back at what you've done and you think, okay, let's do more of that. If you have not done as well, then you look back and you think, actually, what should I have done differently? I should have definitely changed this, that, and then that gives you something to go on and do for 2021. One thing you should definitely not do is know that, oh, I've not done as well as I wanted to. I won't bother doing that review because you're just chickening out, really. If you know it, face it, and then make changes that will help you going forward. And do that every year. I just think it's something that is really important. It will be definitely different for 2020 because of COVID. Still absolutely worth doing. Now, COVID has changed 2020. I think it's very easy to focus on the negatives. I think it's been very hard for everybody, no matter who you are, if you've been affected directly by COVID, if somebody you love has been lost, if you've had it yourself, whatever it might be, or you know somebody that's had it, even if it's not directly touched your life, I think it's just very difficult. Our world has changed. Just wearing masks to start with. Whenever I see somebody without a mask now that I've not seen for a few, here at work, I see people every day, but I see them with masks. And when I do see them, when they take the mask off, if they're going outside, I think, oh, wow, yeah, Toby's got a beard now. And things like that. It's quite weird. It's quite funny to see that. And I think things have changed. But it's so easy to focus on the whole negative, and it is difficult. I think our mental health has suffered, and I think we've all learned a lot about mental health, but it is very, very easy to focus on the negative. So I want to focus on the positive a little bit through some of our own experiences and through some of the things that I know other people have done, particularly going back to the beginning of lockdown in March and April. So first of all, from a mental health point of view, I've looked at some videos, I've read books, I've watched news articles, and a lot of it can really be helped by doing the basics: eating healthily, sleeping well, exercising regularly, not drinking alcohol, and drinking more water. And that is what doctors I know have recommended for all sorts of ailments forever. And it does help mentally as well as physically. Obviously, I've not done as much of that as I should have done, but I'm in the very lucky position that my therapy is really work. I love work to the point that I enjoy coming in here. I enjoy dealing with challenges. I enjoy everything about it. So I'm in a really privileged position. But I think we do need to look at the positives. So going back to lockdown, I think some of the positives there that we experienced, I mean, I was scared, to be perfectly honest. That's why we closed for 4 weeks. I was quite scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't even go out for a walk in that time. I think I went out for one walk in 4 weeks. And yeah, a little bit nervous, as I think a lot of the country were. We've obviously learned a lot about it since, but when I was at home for those 4 weeks, I loved having a sit-down meal at lunchtime with Rachel and the girls, and it's not something we do very often. So I think you've got to learn to appreciate the things that have come from it. And I know a lot of people have learned to work from home, and some people it's not suited. I know some of the guys here didn't particularly enjoy it, but they're back here now and they much prefer being in the office environment. And I think exercise, keeping fit, Joe Wicks and all of that. So I think some people have been furloughed for 8 months this whole time. I can't imagine that. But and they've done something because, hey, I've got nothing else to do. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get fit and I'm going to get healthy and change my body, and in the same time probably changing their mind as well. So I think it's all great. But for our industry specifically, I think training has, obviously there's not been any face-to-face training, which is the best kind of training. But I think there's been limited training. I think online, and whatever aspect of business, it doesn't have to be about how to create things. Whatever aspect of business, you can learn about it online. And I think a lot of people have learned that. The Q convention, for instance, Qualitex did an amazing job back in April regarding that. And I mean, Keith and Dom, well done for hosting that and not having any sleep for however many days it is, I can't remember. But well done to everybody that contributed. I mean, that was amazing. As an industry, so many people worldwide coming together to educate other people in our industry, to give them the tools to be able to go out, change what they do, tweak what they do, effectively almost build a different kind of business that they might be able to do something different during COVID times. So yeah, that was a great achievement. But obviously there's BMTV, we have Balloon School Pro, and there's lots of other videos out there that you can do safely just by watching them free, and some are paid for. I have seen more people doing different things regarding video, and I do want to do a bit of a shout out to Rob Driscoll. So Rob, obviously the bow tie balloon guy, came down and filmed with us last year when he was still able to come down. And I was talking about TikTok. I was very proud of our TikTok account that we were just getting into at the time, and showing him all our silly TikToks. And he went away and he's created a TikTok account, which is, I think, going to work really, really well for him. We'll put it up on the screen, but it's just amazing. He's an entertainer, amazing with modeling balloons. He's actually a really nice guy as well. But now he's got TikTok. He does these videos that are so well edited, all just using his phone, and creating things that are just amazing. The great thing about what he does is he can create it, but he can make that part of a show if he is entertaining. If I was looking for somebody to entertain either a children's party or even at some grown-up party, and I saw his TikTok account, I would definitely be giving him a call. Rob, I think you've made a really good decision there to do that, and keep it up. I think your videos are absolutely amazing. And I think that's a great thing. That's what people have done. They've taken the time to learn, to do something new and to implement it. So yeah, well done, Rob. But as I say, I think looking at the positives is something we should do to keep ourselves sane for however long this is going on for. So I'd like to make it the question of the week. What are the positives for you that have come from 2020 and the COVID situation? Leave your comments down below on Facebook and on YouTube. Right, I'd like to say a few thank yous. I always like to do this at the end of the year, and I think it's really important. So I'm going to start with suppliers. Thank you all. It's been a tough year for you guys. And I know some people give you a hard time. I've intentionally not given you guys a hard time because there's absolutely nothing you could have done to get things to us faster. So I appreciate everything you've been doing, getting things to us as and when you can. And it has really helped us to be able to provide what we can to our customers, and for them to supply them to their customers. So I really do appreciate it. And I hope we can get back to some sort of normality in the coming months. Thank you to all our BMTV viewers out there. It wouldn't be BMTV without you. I've got an interesting fact for you. In the last year so far, and we're in mid-December now filming this. We have had, I can't remember how many thousands of hours, but basically, if you turn it into years, 8.8 years of BMTV has been viewed this year so far, which is amazing. It just blows my mind with those sort of numbers, 8.8 years. So thank you to everybody out there for watching. And of course, thank you to our BMTV guests. It's been a little bit different this year. I know we had Sue and John down and we did some BMTV physically together, but we've not done very much of that at all this year. Mainly it has been over Teams or over Skype or something like that. So thank you to everybody that has done that. It really wouldn't be BMTV, as I've said many times, without you guys contributing in that way. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be getting more people down here again. I was going to say face-to-face, not going to be face-to-face, it's going to be, you know, side-by-side. And we'll get some more normal BMTV guest shows pretty soon. And I would like to say, of course, a big thank you to all our customers. And I want to say thank you for buying from us, and I know you've got options, but I want to give a bigger thank you to all of those that have said thank you to us. It's the appreciation that we've had from people this year has been phenomenal. People have given us gifts and cards, sent messages, and what people have said to me when I've seen them. It's just really humbling. So thank you to everybody for all of that. And you would have seen the video that we put out a couple of weeks ago on Facebook. That it's just humbling. It really is. And I'm glad we've been able to support people. Our whole mission here is to help you grow your business through service and support. And I'm so glad that some people have actually said specifically that. So thank you to all our customers. But the biggest thank you, I think, has got to go to the team this year. It's been a very difficult year. And we came back expecting, 30% of usual sales. We had a lot more than that. It was instantly busy, and it was like, wow, how do we deal with this? And everybody has really, really pulled hard. We've got new people as well. That's brought different energy. When you add new people to a team, it's brought different energy. But everybody has come in, pulled really hard together to get us through this. We've done different shifts. We've done evenings. We've done weekends. We've done longer hours. And we've tried really hard, and everybody has really pulled hard. So a big, big thank you to everybody in the team here at Balloon Market. And that really does. I just couldn't obviously have done it without that team. So as hard as it's been, we've made it through 2020. So thank you all so very much. Right. The other thing you have to consider, obviously, at the end of a year is goals for the next year. And I'm not going to go into the details about how to set goals. We've done that before on previous end of year shows. We'll put the links down below. But the most important thing for me to say to you is make sure you write your goals down. But I want to specifically target a number of you out there. And the people I want to target are the people that are either thinking of starting their own business or have just started, really toe in the water, just trying it out. And is 2021 going to be the year for you? So I asked, there's a few people here that work here that also have their own businesses. So I've asked them, what sort of questions did you ask yourself? And I tried to think back as to what we asked ourselves when we were first setting up. And I've got some of those questions written down. So I'm sure some of these are in your head if you are in that position. And I want to try and answer them from my point of view. This is just my opinion, although I'm very sure that a lot of these opinions are shared with people that are out there, business gurus, because it's amazing. Just being in business for 16 years now, you learn so much. So, what if questions? So, what if it fails? I've never liked what if, because it's what if there's a tiny chance something might happen. Okay, I'm not going to do it. So I always, what if it fails? I mean, businesses do fail. 20% of businesses fail in the first year, 60% fail in the first 3 years. So yes, there is a chance it will fail, but what if it's a massive success? That's the other way to look at it. So when you're asking what if questions, it's generally something that if you're not willing to put the work in, what if that happens? What if something happens to you? It's not what you are doing to make sure it doesn't happen. So what if this happens? When you set up your own business, you're in charge. You are the one. It falls entirely on you to make it a success or a failure. It's nobody else. It's you. You make the decisions. Yes, there might be external factors. You know, I would not like to have been a person that just bought a restaurant just as we came into lockdown and COVID, because that would have been really hard. So sometimes there are external factors. But in the majority of cases, businesses fail because of the person making the decisions about that business. And the way to mitigate against that, in my opinion, is education. Just teach yourself. There's something called Google. You might have heard of it. You type in questions and it gives you lots of answers. It's amazing. Do a lot of that. And as long as you're in business, do a lot of that. So that will help mitigate against the chance of failure. Now, if you do that, and there are things beyond your control, or things happen in your life, and it does fail for whatever reason, what if it fails? Well, so what? You move on. You learn from it. You either go back to work. You might discover that actually, yes, I'm not self-motivated enough to actually work for myself. I'm much better being employed and somebody telling me what to do every day. And I'm motivated in that way because I want to please the boss. And if you're that kind of person, you've learned that from trying to be self-employed, then great, you've got something out of it. So that's the answer to the first question. What if it fails? Mitigate against it, learn as much as you possibly can, and if it does fail, just move on and learn from it. What if I can't get customers? You can get customers. You just have to figure out the best way to do that. First of all, you've got to decide who your customers are, who your target audience are. Is it heads of Fortune 500 companies? Depending what you sell, obviously probably not balloons, or is it parents of children that are between the ages of 5 and 10 for birthdays that you want to target? Whatever it is, figure out who it is you want to target, and then you try different things, how it is you're going to get those customers. So is it Facebook advertising? Is it Instagram? You might try Facebook, doesn't work. Might try Instagram, doesn't work. Might try flyers, doesn't work. Might try phoning people up directly, doesn't work. Might try something in the local community. Oh, that works. You might have to try different things. And what you normally do, you try multiple things. You don't just try one thing at a time. So can you get customers? What if I can't get customers? That's up to you. You just have to do the work. Once again, do the research. You can get customers. You just have to do the research and find out how. Is now the right time, or should I wait until the end of the pandemic? Don't wait till the end of the pandemic, because we don't know when it's going to end. Is this going to go on for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Who knows? So don't wait then to start your business. Is now the right time? No. And the reason it's no is because it's never the right time. There is never a right time to set up your own business, to start your own business. So by default, the answer is absolutely yes. Now is the right time. The thing is, we're very good at coming up with excuses. If there's something that's going to be challenging for us as human beings, we are very good at coming up with an excuse. Well, you know, we were going to decorate the living room, weren't we? So once we've done that, then I'll look at starting up the business. Oh, let's wait until the kids have gone to university. Then we'll do it. And what you find is always an excuse. Now, a very wise man that I once knew, and I think I've told this story before, when I first worked on cruise ships, I was late for a shift. And I told him why. I can't remember why. And he said, Greg, excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one. So it's absolutely, we are all like that. We can justify anything if we try hard enough. So yes, the answer is yes, now. Right now is the time to start starting your own business. So it might mean if you've got a couple of hours free today, go and do some research. And then before you know it, you've bought yourself a URL for your website. And before you know it, you've got Office 365 for your emails, so you look professional. And then you've got yourself a Facebook account and an Instagram. And before you know it, you're selling stuff and you've made a couple of things. And that is how it goes. Just start. Get the momentum. Just start. So start it today. Now. Right now. Go. Do it. What will people think? This is a really easy one. Doesn't matter. Listen to the opinions of others. Find out what they think, if you respect their opinions, if you respect them. But in all honesty, if you ask your friends, would you buy balloons, for instance? Well, if they're not people that would buy balloons, they're all going to say no. That doesn't mean there isn't a market for balloons. You might just have asked the wrong demographic, the wrong type of people. Who knows? So, yeah, what do people think? If you're worried about what people think, is like, oh, they're doing balloons. Then why are they leaving a job where they've got a pension, they get 6 weeks holiday, and all of this? You know, why are they leaving that? My argument would be, why would anybody want to stay trapped in a job when they've got the opportunity to go and do their own thing? It's how you perceive it. So, what do people think? It really doesn't matter. This is your life. Can I do it? Only you can answer that, really. Are you willing to put the work in? Are you willing to probably earn less per hour than you've ever earned before? Do you believe in yourself enough to actually make a success of it? Are you ready for the bad times as well as the good times? It's definitely not sit back on your yacht and watch the money coming in kind of life. If anybody thinks that or tries to sell that idea to you about any form of self-employment, yes, it's absolutely rubbish. You will have to work harder than you've ever worked, probably work more hours than you've ever worked, at least initially. And yes, it's hard. So can you do it? Can you deal with it? Can you motivate yourself, self-motivate yourself? Only you can answer that question. Will it make money? Yeah, if you do it right. What I would recommend is when you first start, any money you make, you put back into your business, buy more stock, do more training, invest. We made no money in our first year. I don't even know if we made any money in our second year because we kept putting it back into the business. And then when you get to a certain size, you can start to take a little bit out and then a little bit more, hopefully. So as long as you do your pricing right. If you're going to compete on price, probably not the best strategy, but if you're selling 20 million units and you make a penny on each, then that's not a bad strategy. So it depends what you're selling. In our industry, what you sell, what we do, you need to price it right. So you can have a look at our pricing tool that we've got on the website and watch that video as well. Do I have enough time? Yes, you do. Everybody has 24 hours in every day, just like everybody else. So if people can run countries, if people can run multi-billion-dollar businesses in 24 hours, then you can do this. Do you watch Netflix at all? Even if it's half an hour a day? Yeah, get off that. That's half an hour you've just gained. Do you scroll on your phone on TikTok for an hour a day? Yep, get off that, and that's an hour you've just gained. There is time. Once again, everybody can come up with justification why they don't have enough time. If somebody says they don't have enough time to do it, it's just an excuse. So yes, you do have enough time. Do I know what I'm doing? This is one of my favorite questions. No, you don't. Because you don't. You've never done this before. This is all brand new. Again, I'd say there's something called Google. Go and have a look on there and you learn how to do something. And then you learn that. And once you've learned that, you then discover that, oh, there's something else I don't know. So you have to learn that. And then you discover there's something else. And it goes on and on and on. So, and that never stops, no matter how many, we've been in business 16 years, and I still learn something every week. So, yeah, you don't know. No, you don't know how to do it until you do know how to do it. And then you learn something else and something else and something else. And over the years, you figure it all out, or over the months, over the weeks, you figure it all out. So, yes, don't be frightened by not knowing what to do. You're not expected to know what to do. But your customers don't know that you don't know what you're doing to start with, and you just learn. And talking to Vicky, who also does balloon decoration as well on the side as working here, she says exactly that. She was nervous about doing an arch first, so she practiced in her living room. How do I keep it up? How do I make sure it doesn't fall down? It was a demi-arch, and she did that. So yes, you don't know what you're doing until you do. So, in the words of Wayne Gretzky, an ice hockey player and coach, he played hockey for 20 years and he was a Canadian coach. And he's very, very well known. And he said this famous quote, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take," which is quite hard to say. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So my question to you is, are you going to take your shot in 2021? I hope so. Leave some comments down below if you are on Facebook and on YouTube. Right, that is it from me this week. That is it from me this year. I hope you have a great new year. I hope you have an even better 2021 and stay as safe as you possibly can. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.